podcast. Ashley, I'm with you today. Mac is out, unfortunately, due to health concerns and issues, so we're sending him lots of love. But otherwise, he would be here, as we know. We're really excited, though, to have a special guest with us today who is from North Carolina, which I'm very excited about, and is going to be representing the North Carolina Film Partnership, which is fairly new, and it's got really cool opportunities, and I'm just really excited to learn about it. But we're also going to learn a little bit about Courtney and her background, how she got into this. So Courtney, thank you so much for being with us today, and I'm really excited to learn about you and what you've gotten into here. Tell us a little bit about yourself to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. This is exciting. As she said, I'm Courtney Smallwood. I'm the Marketing Communications Director for the Film Partnership of North Carolina. My path into kind of the film industry is not super linear, and I'm not sure anyone you would meet in the industry would say their path was linear, because there's no one way about it. I actually started out specifically in marketing communication. So I went to undergrad as a history major, thought I was going to law school. That very quickly was I actually got an internship, and my mentors in the internship was you don't need to go to law school to do what you wanted to do, because back then I thought I was going to get into politics and do that whole spiel. But it turns out I was actually good at the marketing communications thing, and so I kind of built a career in that, and was kind of kicking ass. But during the pandemic, as I think a lot of people experienced, it was a lot of do I want to do this for the rest of my life, or is there something else a little bit more out there? And what I found was that I was really good at the project management kind of storytelling of it all, and had always had in the back of my head film would be really cool. But being from Indiana originally, I was I don't know how that works, and I don't know what my path is into all of that. Started doing some research and found the University of North Carolina School of the Arts film school, and applied to their creative producing program. Got in, they only take, I think my class, I think there were 8 producers my year. So it's a fairly competitive program, particularly for the East.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. So went to film school, and there I met Lauren Vilchik, who, as a lot of the UNCSA grads will tell you, was super pivotal to my career. Met Lauren. She's the assistant dean of the film school for graduate studies, and she's also a producer and lawyer. And so she was a great person to meet. I got to know her and bugged her the program was 2 years, and so between the first year and the second year, just kind of kept bugging her because I knew she had a production coming up. And finally she gave me a position on her film that she was producing. It's called A Little Prayer, directed by Angus McLaughlin, starring David Strathairn, Celia Weston, and Jane Levy. And so I was the assistant to producers on that film, that set. Got to go with it to Sundance. It got into Sundance 2023. And then from there, it sold to Sony Pictures Classics. And I was introduced to the people at Sony, and kind of, I don't know, networked with them a little bit. And they let me know that there was a trainee program in New York City. And so I ended up moving to New York for a year, did their trainee program, worked on a couple of other projects. And that's kind of how it all started. Obviously, that's how I met Lauren. Lauren is one of the founders of the Film Partnership in North Carolina. And so that's kind of how we're here today.
That's really incredible. You know what's interesting is you are the second person I think we've had on here who started out in law, and because they thought that would be a good idea to get into, the film industry. And so, there is no linear way to get into the film industry. You kind of have to be a jack of all trades or have done a couple different things. And even when you get into the film industry, it's not guaranteed that you're going to stay in that one position for forever, which is kind of
Exactly.
nice. Some people gives them a little bit of a heartache, but it is what it is. But yeah, just kind of be flexible. Which is
That's
sure,
what it
it's
is.
really cool about the like that was one of your first films that you got in. That's really impressive.
That yeah, it was my first like I worked on a couple of student projects while at UNCSA, but that was kind of like my first professional set that I worked on, which was amazing experience. And actually became really good friends with Celia Weston, who was like kind of a mentor guru when I moved to New York City. She's been great.
That's awesome. I've heard good things about her, so that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
she's
Cool.
super sweet. Uh,
So we'll dive into. I know you had brought up Lauren as one of the founders of the partnership. So tell me a little bit about what was the inspiration behind that. Why in North Carolina? Not that I'm sad. I'm really excited about things coming to North Carolina because it's just there's a lot of potential here, and I'm just like waiting for it to all be tapped. Like it's exciting for me. I have a heart for North Carolina, and we've got, I feel like the West Coast, Hollywood, I hate to say it, but it is kind of dying, especially since influencers have come out and everything. There's this huge shift. So it's getting to the point where, Georgia, a lot of people are telling me now when they were actually asking me, like, where should I go when I'm getting into the industry? I'm just like, don't go to Hollywood, go to Georgia. Georgia's going to have a whole heck of a lot more
mhm,
opportunities, a little less competition, so you're going to have a little bit more chances to make uh inroads a little bit faster, and just a little bit safer environment too. Closer to home,
mhm,
kind of things like that. So yeah, but North Carolina is starting to get more studios moving here, things like that. Films, TV series obviously have been coming here, but I feel like there's been more of a push. So
mhm.
yeah, what got you guys going in that direction? How did it get started, I guess?
That's a great question. And I mean, the three ladies who founded the film partnership are geniuses, each and of their own right. Susie Hamilton was a former state representative, and then she also worked with Governor Cooper on his cabinet. She is the one who kind of conceptualized all of it, and it made a ton of sense because she brings kind of like the advocacy element. Darla McGlamory, who's the business manager for IATSE 491, brings that element to it, and then Lauren as a producer has a lot of the others, like she has the producing side of the industry, and so they kind of realized that North Carolina had the opportunity to be, because I mean, North Carolina used to be a very big place for productions. I mean, like all of the WB shows like Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill and that kind of thing. But then some of the like tax credits fell off, and things started moving out of state. And so they're really trying to recapture that magic. But they're also, the main goal of the film partnership, which is the brilliant part, is we offer anyone in North Carolina over this age of 18. You have to be a North Carolina resident over the age of 18. And we will train you and pay you while we train you to build a career in film. And so this is like the entry level, below the line crew level position. So like anything from like PA to camera to the crafts or electrical. Like we will train you to be set ready, and then we will also help place you on your first initial like productions. That way you get to, not only do you get paid while you're getting trained, but then it's your opportunity to kind of build a network from there, which is what the film industry is all about, unfortunately. So we're attempting to remove that barrier from the whole nepotism barrier to getting into film production. On the flip side of that, at the same time, we're building a crew base. So we're attracting those productions to the state. We're attracting those filmmakers, the producers. So if we have a set ready crew, we have the optimal studio space and the weather. Like it's a great place to shoot in North Carolina. So you have all of those conditions. So why not? And then the other element, so how you have like the crew base, you're attracting productions, but you also have programs like UNCSA. with all of this talent coming out of the state, like, why wouldn't you give them another reason to stay? So if they can start building their careers here instead of moving to, North Carolina or to LA or New York City, where, it's really not feasible, starting out, they can make their projects here with the crew and the talent that we have. And so it kind of builds on everything, and it creates this whole ecosystem. So we got started in 2021, I think is when it was founded, and really started placing interns in 2022. So we're still young, but there has been a lot of interest, and yeah, so far so good.
That's really awesome. And I love how you're explaining kind of all the benefits to it, because that is all the benefits. Like, you guys you're building a career, you're building something that is very, people can come to and be like, oh, if they're coming to film in a location, it's so much nicer to be able to go to one location and say, hey, listen, this is what I need. And know that they're going to show up on time, that they're good quality, blah, blah, blah. They've been trained, they understand the drill. And I also feel like you're connecting a lot of the cool talent that we have from the School of the Arts to, really awesome opportunities. And it helps with that disconnect, because once you graduate, it's like, all right, great. What's the next? It's not like you go to a job fair. There is anything like that. It's a shark eat shark world kind of out there. So it's one of those things where you have to know people to get in. Are they going to be good people? Are they going to stab you in the back later? So I think this is a really cool opportunity for people to be able to have the opportunity to as safely as you possibly can, get into the industry, get some experience, get their feet wet, kind of realize, hey, I wanted to go into directing, but maybe once you get the experience, you'll feel like, I don't want to be a director. I want to be, like, I want to go into sound engineering or something like that. I want to be a wardrobe design. There's so many different opportunities. You go into film executive and just be the person that makes everything happen, and you don't actually really ever touch set. Like, there's different avenues as far as that goes. Or maybe you do want to go into entertainment law. I'll get that one. But like, that's, yeah. So I think that's really awesome. So you guys placed your first in 2022, you said?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. That's really impressive. Super cool.
Yeah. And we've had interest from interns. So we launched specifically within Wilmington, within the Wilmington region, just based on the initial funding we received. But then we went statewide. And so we are open to anyone in North Carolina where we can service them. And yeah, I think we've placed over 160 interns. Give or take 160 interns so far on different productions.
Wow, that's really cool. So what does an intern need to go, like, what does the process look like for them? If you would like to explain that a little bit.
I saw you were showing the website earlier. That's where you start. So find us on social media, find us at filmpartnershipnc.org. And then there is a interest form, apply for paid training. You see right there. You fill that out, give us a little bit of information about you, and then the next step after that is usually a group Zoom. So we just want to meet them face to face, make sure they're real, make sure that they live in North Carolina. And then from there, we will do one of a few things. If they already have experience, we get a lot of interest from people who've gone through film school and are looking for those initial set experiences. So if they have that already, we might go ahead and place them on a production. If they don't have any experience, which we welcome anyone and everyone with whatever background you have, because everyone has experience and it all translates, right? But we will then train them, put them in a training to make them set ready. So how does a walkie-talkie work? What's the language people are using? Making sure they understand the different departments and the different, and you were talking about earlier, making sure they understand, if you're interested in being a director, there are pathways, starting as a crew member to that goal, or if you're interested in being a producer, this is the, how you can do it without, having to necessarily go to film school, or you get this experience on set and you think, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is exactly what I want to do with my life. And that inspires you to go to film school. Like, it's just a harmonious balance between it all. And so we will make you set ready and then place you on a production to get that experience with actual industry professionals. And then from there, our hope is that, we're obviously placing qualified, set ready people, and they're, eager enough to make those connections and start building that career. Because unfortunately or fortunately, it is kind of about building that network, and you have to start somewhere, whether that's film school or in a position like this, building that network and making those connections. One job leads to the next job, leads to the next job.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. And you do have to have those connections, but this gives them a huge opportunity to build it. And if they don't at that point, you might not make it too long in the industry. I'm just going to be real with you. So yeah, this just gives you a really great starting point to get some good names, connections, put yourself out there, put yourself as somebody that works hard and has got some reputation that's starting to be built. That does go farther than you would think. People are going to remember you for how well you did on set, things like that. Did you show up on time? Are you griping, complaining 6 hours through the day? You got 6 more hours to go. 6+ more hours to go.
On your phone? Like,
right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And like there are several programs out there in different states like ours, but we actually pay our interns through that training and then on the productions. And so we're not asking them to, work for us for free, which can so often be the case in this industry, or work for, very little.
That's one thing I absolutely loved about it. I was like, wow, you guys can pay these guys to go ahead and get some experience, which is huge, because a lot of times if you're getting experience, you may end up seeing some free things here and there. So yeah, this is really pretty awesome. How do you guys find productions to work with? I mean, I know you guys have got some like major connections there, but like people that are coming, studios that are coming from the outside in, do they reach out to you? How does that work?
It happens in a variety of ways, and that's also kind of the beauty of our founders and our leadership. So between Susie, Darla, Lauren, they pretty well have their ears to the ground on what's coming into North Carolina. But then we also have amazing partners like Dark Horse Studios, Cinespace. So it's a lot of information sharing and, how can we help you help us, that kind of thing. And so generally speaking, one of those avenues is going to know what's happening in the state. And then we also have great partners in the film office of North Carolina and
you guys have the commission. Yeah.
And the film commission.
Everything has to register through them. So they could definitely give you guys a heads up, which is great.
Exactly. And they've been amazing partners through all of this.
That is so awesome. Like, I'm so proud of like the ladies who put this on and you guys for like pushing this and continuing it. It's just, that is some really awesome. I mean, it's just fantastic. If I was getting into the film industry again, this is how I would want to go. I wouldn't want to have to go through all the stuff I did. Gonna be real. But so how can people help you guys out? So I know you guys are nonprofits, obviously donations, like what is the best way for companies, anybody to assist you guys with helping place these interns or anybody who's getting into it?
Absolutely. So in addition to the applied for paid training on our website, there is an additional form that if you are a producer, you are a filmmaker, doesn't matter how small your production, if you're interested in hiring interns for your production, there's an opportunity to partner with us on our website. And that can also include if you have an experience for our interns. It doesn't necessarily need to be film or television production, but where they can get actual hands-on experience. The other opportunity on our website is donate to our mission. So as you mentioned, we are a nonprofit, and we will happily take any donations, recurring or not, that really support our mission and support it. 90% of our funding goes directly into the pocket of our interns. And so we're not spending a ton of overhead. We're not spending a ton on advertising. We're really in it to provide our interns with valuable experiences so that they can kind of build on their own careers.
And that makes it so it's a little less of a cost and risk for companies or production companies that are looking at you guys too. It's kind of like, yeah, here, hire these interns. Like, okay, we could be spending tons of money on these interns and they're going to drain our budget, not do what they're supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. But like, you guys are paying them. So that's
Absolutely
really an extra layer of protection there, which is great.
Absolutely.
Super cool. Well, guys, you definitely should go check it out.
Yes, please follow us on social media if you have any questions. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram and LinkedIn. It's me behind the scenes, so if you do have questions, please do reach out. I will happily answer them. If you have interns or you know somebody who is interested in getting into the film industry but doesn't exactly know how, send them our way. Yeah, we will happily chat with you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Definitely, guys, check them out because, like I said, if you're in North Carolina, this is a really huge opportunity. I mean, huge. And I've already sent somebody your way. I know they're eventually going to get to you. I think they had some life stuff happen, so they're heading your direction still. What is the best, besides contacting on the website, what's the best? Is there an email, or is just this the best way through the website?
You can contact me directly at Courtney at filmpartnershipnc.org. Or we also have a Gmail. It's, film partnership of nc at gmail.com. Either one of those will basically get you to me.
Okay, hopefully I got this right here. Is it .org or .com? Okay, Courtney at Film Partnership.
.org.
.org. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll pop it up there so you guys can. Hopefully I got that right. Always when I put it up there, I'm just like, all right, there we go. I think that's right.
Yep, that's me.
Perfect. Yeah, guys, reach out to Courtney. She can help you answer questions and things like that, and get you set up with some really cool news.
Yeah, and if you have an organization, like if you're, a high school program that, you have students interested, not necessarily going the college route, but interested in this, like we can have someone come and chat with you at your location. Yeah, we're eager to get interns into the program, and we are happy to do that however it happens.
I'll have to have you guys come up. We have a film incubator, fingers crossed, that should be happening in the very 1st of June. So I'll let you guys know, and maybe you guys can come up and talk about it a little bit, because that would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much, Courtney. Is there any other words of wisdom that you would give to people getting into the industry besides go through the program?
That's actually a really great question, and something I was heavily considering before I ended up going to film school myself. I actually randomly sent a DM to Robert King, who is a writer, director, did like The Good Wife, The Good Fight, Elizabeth. Like he's legitimate, and I'm a huge fan. And I, as a lark, I sent him a direct message and was like, is film school a good idea? Like, what do you think? And he's like, absolutely. He was like, anything where you are building a network of people, because those initial people you meet will become your first colleagues and coworkers. They're going to be the people you make your first projects with. And so I kind of repurpose that. Like anything that provides you the opportunity to start building a network, whether that is film school or whether it is a program like ours, or somebody who worked on a set, like talk to them. Anything that allows you to start building a network is honestly gonna be your best foot forward. Because I mean, it all goes back to that.
Yeah, that is 100% true. Networking is key, and who you start out with is oftentimes, yeah, I mean, he's 100% right. Like, it's going to be what you continue on with and you fall back on, you know, when you need that help and stuff. So, yeah, I just put that up there. But I know for me, and especially like starting out in the industry, I still go back to those people, especially if they're really good, you know, and they didn't burn you or anything. Yeah, you really need to have a good solid base. And I was talking with Ashton earlier about this. He's music, a different world, but the same. It's still entertainment, and you need to have a network. You have a base, people that are there to support and keep pushing you forward. If you don't have that, you're really going to be struggling. So I agree. Yeah.
Absolutely. I still, one of the ladies I went to grad school with, she's kind of my accountability partner, and
I love
weekly
that.
we check in. So it's true. It's that those first people you meet are super, whether or not you end up working with them daily, but they're still super pivotal to your career, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah. Even just to ask a question. Just like I still reach out to so many people. I'm just like, question. Like, does this seem, and don't be afraid to ask questions either. I mean, like I've known people that have been in the industry for 30 plus years and they still are like, oh, I don't know that. What's that mean? Like they're willing to ask those questions. And to me, that's just really special because you can't know everything and stuff changes so fast. You just like, there's no way. And there's so many avenues of the industry. You can't be a master of everything. There's just no way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you so much, Courtney. Guys, definitely go. I'm going to pop the website back up here again, filmpartnershipsnc.org. Check it out. Submit. Let's get you rolling in that direction if that's something that you're really interested in getting into and get to explore. You know, I think that's probably one of the best things. Explore, build your network, and you'll be heading in the right direction for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you so much, Courtney. We're going to pop off here today, guys, and we'll see you back here next time. And have a good rest of your day. Make sure